Hi, I'm Veronica Lee. I am a mother, I am a mystic, and I mentor people. And I do a lot more than that, right? When I decide to do whatever I do, I unfortunately take a lot of consciousness with me. So the reason I say unfortunately is because I often find that I'm ultra conscious, ultra sensitive to anything I do wrong. Now, part of that belief system is based on my own upbringing. I was raised metaphysically, and so from a young age, I was taught that somehow I am creating my reality. When I looked out in the world and saw that things weren't so lovely, I figured, uh-oh, I messed something up, right? As any new enlightenment thought form may be coming your way, if you are at all on a conscious spiritual path in this generic term, then you likely hit some sort of roadblock along the way that says that same sort of message. That if you meditate enough, if you process enough, if you do this right, you will eventually get to ascend or to achieve enlightenment, or on a more 3D plane, we get to enjoy a nice life, right? So for me, I have found that this message is often reiterated in any of in the religions in some way, shape, or form. But the question is it accurate? Is that true? If we are so-called good enough, if we are spiritual enough, if we do what we should be doing, are we going to have the life that we want? Yes and no. So for many of us, we might believe that we are here to learn, that we are here for some particular lessons. And for many people, that could be the case. What I have seen with highly awake people is sometimes they are here to bring something to the earth, right? They are bringing some kind of gift, some sort of message perhaps. They are here to help this earth experience, but they are also here to receive. Now, the receiving part could be a lesson like, gee, what is it like to be human, right? The receiving could also be in terms of just the experience. I have seen people who are here simply for the human experience, that they don't necessarily need to learn anything. And the learning doesn't have to be really deep. Of course, you learn how to walk, you learn how to ride a bike. It's all pretty basic, but it doesn't have to be, this is life lesson number, 25, and here's what you have to do to achieve that, all right? One of the things I have seen many times, and I've experienced many times with my clients, is that we often find that when our life isn't in the flow, or when things don't feel good to us, or when we don't get this thing that we wanted, that somehow something is wrong with the operator, with the person, with the being that is trying to create or receive or get in alignment with the flow. For me personally, I have experienced many hardships, and did I create them? Perhaps. Or did I need to learn a lesson? Maybe. But the bottom line is, did I contribute to my overall spiritual growth by beating up on myself and feeling like I didn't do something, some spiritual activity well enough? Many times I did. In fact, growing up, I often had to really look at what my part in a situation might be, just because I was raised, again, by a conscious parent, right? And so by looking at what my part was, I could then take responsibility. On a soul level, we can do that, and we can also experience life for what it is and not necessarily take any kind of blame for what we didn't do right or wrong. What makes it tricky is that many spiritual teachers, like myself, like all the ones that are out there, will often give you a front in which they want you to believe on some level that because they did this, they've come to a place in their own joy in life. I do want to acknowledge that, and at the same time, I really want to acknowledge life with its ebb, with its flow, with everything changing. We are ever-changing beings. There are times that we will feel elated because we see, the sunset, right? And other times we will feel sad at the sunset, right? So it doesn't have to be gee, the sun set, therefore I'm feeling this. Where did this feeling come from? How do I process that feeling? Because there wasn't perfection or gladness only in that feeling. Sometimes our humanness just is. And what we can do to support our humanness is to accept and allow for that humanness to be more and more loved. The bottom line is that what we are seeking as a human being, as a spiritual being, what we are essentially is love, and all we are trying to do is find our way to align with that love. Now, that love is infused in everything, every act, every deed, and of course this is arguable, and so I'm not really here to argue because this is a one-way conversation. I'm the one that's talking, and you can of course comment if you choose, but I will say that from the information that I align with, the information that I receive, and my own experience from these higher dimensions, is that love is an ever-present quality that is the heart of who we are and that everything is. Now, there may be experiences that don't seem aligned with love, but essentially everything is love. As a human being, we are simply trying to experience that love, and when we experience it in a physical way, our vibration, raises, let's say, and when we experience love that doesn't quite look like love, maybe it looks like war or, discord, then it seems to lower our vibration. Now, whether our vibration is raised or lowered is essentially relative and an illusion to some degree, only because it somehow gives a quality or a quantity to something that isn't measurable, right? Love, in essence, in its true form, simply is. It's not measurable. So I just want to invite you to look at how conscious you are already. If you are conscious enough to believe that somehow you could do better, that's a good thing, right? You are contributing, or at least desiring to contribute to the well-being of yourself and of the planet. What you don't want to do, however, is to use that against you, to use that as a way to whip yourself, to say, I'm not good enough, I didn't do this good enough, and therefore I deserve whatever punishment is coming. But what goes deeper than that is, because I am good, I will be rewarded, and when I am bad, I will not be, right? So that thinking that when I'm spiritual enough, I will ascend, everything will be good, is really based on not just duality, but the thinking that somehow we are rewarded and punished according to our value. And in essence, there is no value on who we are, right? We are priceless. We are priceless beings. So there's no way to say this person's worth more because, they came in very awake and therefore have all the spiritual information and can help the planet and blah, blah, blah. And the whole story goes on. And we're going to call this person a guru and we're going to follow this person. And this person is going to give us rules and ways to be and how to do things, and then we're going to be okay because we've been blessed by this being. Well, the hard part is, again, it's really more of a hierarchy and it's really more of an illusion. What we are trying to step into as conscious beings is our own power. Who we are is inherently worthy. Who we are is love. Who we are is wisdom, is knowledge, is information, and are we allowing ourselves to align with that? So all I offer you is, if what I say resonates, then you are simply bringing your own information to you in some way, shape, or form. If it doesn't resonate, no big deal. You can allow that to just rest and not to deal with it, not bother with it, not even take it in, because it's not necessarily your truth. Personally, I don't believe that I have any particular truths. I just believe that we all have fragments of the truth, and when we come together and we hear things that resonate, we will get a little picture of what might be more close to a truth, right? I believe that truth is sort of like, our lives. They are ever mysterious, ever evading in some way, shape, or form, and that we are just striving toward that. So with that, hopefully you will look at how you look at yourself a little bit more clearly with more rose-colored glasses versus critical glasses, that you will see that you've been really doing your best all along, and that with more consciousness you can bring in more love, and that with more awareness you will see that you are simply spiritual enough to be who you are, and that you can grow if you wish, but you don't have to. There's no right, there's no wrong, there's no good, there's no bad. And in all of that, you can just incorporate who you are more so that you can feel more comfortable in your skin and enjoy your life more. But that doesn't mean things won't happen. That doesn't mean that you won't react. That doesn't mean that there won't be hardships, or that doesn't mean that you necessarily created them. So with that, just food for thought. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we will connect again at some point. All right.